this now leads us to the weekly speakers spot. So every week at Business at Breakfast, one of the members gets the opportunity to share with the group further insights into their business or enlighten the group a little bit more about themselves. The members could use the time to problem solve or seek assistance from the group as a collective. The time is theirs to use however they would like. Today, we have the wonderful Kate McConville. So she doesn't know she's a speaker today. Every now and then I get the opportunity to pull somebody out of the crowd and interview them. So hello, Kate. I'm so pleased that you're able to come out today. I've actually been waiting for someone from Nature's Defence to come on out because, well, it's winter here in Australia and it rains, and different places it rains, and then of course it gets, well, here in Queensland where I'm at, we get very little rain, but we're quite warm where we're at. So, you know, if it can get mouldy here, I suppose it can get mouldy everywhere else. Everyone else seems to be sopping wet, everyone south. And then the edge of Queensland, oh my God, in and out of floods for on and off for the last couple of years as well. Like all the places that have never flooded before, all of a sudden just flooding on and off all the time. So you just sort of get back into it, you know, cleaned your house up and everything else, and then it seems to rain and flood everyone all over again. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for you, Kate, to tell us a little bit more about mould, but I'm going to give you some structure in how I want you to speak, right? So Kate is part of a group called Nature's Defence, which is a natural way of killing and removing mould. So that she's part of a training company that doesn't just clean mould when somebody's got it and got health issues. They actually teach cleaners how to kill and remove it. Kind of a bit like, imagine you've got a big hairy spider in your house. So I mean, Americans get tarantulas and there's no way you'd be squashing one of those babies. But in Australia, we have things called huntsmans, and they're about this big. And you kind of look at one in the house and you go, all right, dude, you're either going to walk yourself out or you're going to die some way, but you're going out. You just can't live in here with us. Mould is a bit the same, right? Is that you can live, just not inside with me. And so really the only real way to remove mould for health purposes is to kill and remove it. Apparently, it's not that easy. Not everybody around the world knows about this. So, Kate, I want you to give us a quick elevator pitch again on what you do, and then the history of how you fell into this mould space. And then after that, we'll ask you questions.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I love to throw someone under the bus. You're right.
Okay, so my name is Kate McConville, and my company is Nature's Defence Mould Solutions, and we kill and remove mould from all surfaces, actually. Yeah, so that's the elevator pitch, and we train people how to do it safely, effectively, efficiently, and make money while they're doing it. And about me, I came into mould because I met Nora after telling her that I pulled out some jeans out of my cupboard and I had mould on my jeans. She said, oh my God, Kate, so how's your health? And I go, well, I realized that something was going on before I pulled the jeans out of the cupboard, because I was a bit wheezy. I'm an asthmatic, a bit wheezy, a bit chesty, and not sleeping very well. And then when I pulled the jeans out of the cupboard, I realized that, that's the reason, because I knew mould was bad for you, but I didn't realize how bad it could be. So I'm the 1 in 4 people in the world that don't have the gene to manage mould in my body. So that means it causes all of these medical issues. And so she'd just come across this product designed and researched in America initially, and said, would you like to try it? And I said, sure. I'd only met her once at a networking meeting, invested a big chunk of money because I liked her and trusted her for some reason, and did the process, and it worked. Yeah, and that's how I came into it. And knowing my husband was extraordinarily skeptical about this process, but he could see that it worked. Yeah, and the rest is I decided to buy into the business, of course.
It's usually how it works, right? Is you discover something that you're not really sure that will work, but because when you try it and it does, it works exactly as planned, that you go, oh, I must tell the rest of the world about this. Yeah. Exactly. So Does anyone have any mold stories? Know someone that had mold? Any sort of, yeah, Ben.
Yeah, I had a friend back in Seattle. She was a tattoo artist, and her tattoo studio was in her basement. And for many years, she was down there working, dark, dingy area, just used, spotlights to kind of do the tattooing work. And there was black mold down there, and it actually got into her bloodstream, and eventually it was her demise. And in Seattle, we dealt with a lot of mold issues. So you hear stories like that all the time. So any place that's dark, damp, you got to let the air flow, you got to let the light in. I'm sure that'd be part of the treatment, but just make sure that you just don't let a section of your house continually remain in that state, because dampness and darkness are your enemy when it comes to mold.
The key absolutely is ventilation, maintaining building codes. So buildings that are water damaged really do need to be remediated properly. Yeah, it's a big deal. It affects people's quality of their life, and death is an extraordinary outcome for something that's readily treatable. It's very sad that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Adele, you got your hand up?
Yeah, well, I have a story too. I had an apartment at one time, and they were doing the outside casing again. And it was luckily I was moving out because I could see through my wall to the street below. And for some reason, I never slept in the bedroom. I didn't understand why, because when they opened up the casing, the inside wall went black. And I'm like, I'm moving out.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay, so my body knew not to sleep in the bedroom. I always slept on the couch.
Yeah, wow.
There you go. There you go. So, Kate, you want to tell us how they do the kill and removal process? So I'll tell you this, right? I've spent over a week as I'm traveling, right, for the Women in Business Connect Awards that I was going to. Every place I stopped at, I stayed at my cousin's, who's a dry cleaners. I stayed at a girlfriend's place who we used to do fashion together, but she had she owned 3 B&Bs. Her new fella is, wants to be the mayor of the town that they're in. And he goes, there's a lot of mold here. I said, apparently it's everywhere. And so each place I stayed at, yesterday at another girlfriend's place who, her husband asked questions about mold too. And so each place I was saying, I was talking about this with mold. It's amazing how we go, yeah, well, I mean, you really can't kill it. Or what's the process of how people are normally trying to get rid of mold? And it's either done through a cleaning process, which, as I've found out, cleaning doesn't kill it, it cleans it. It's like this. I was a barmaid for 10 years, from 18 until 27. And I first started at bowling club. So bowling club, the old guys in the white uniforms with lawn bowls, right? And they all drink beer. And so everybody drinks beer, and every now and then a woman would drink beer as well. And of course, she has lipstick on. So as a barmaid, you wipe the lipstick off, and then you put the glass in the dishwasher and you wash it all, and it's all done. But every now and then you'd miss a glass that had lipstick on it. And so then I'd pour a beer for someone, and inevitably I'd give it to them, and they'd say, this one has lipstick. And I'd say this, but it's clean now. Yep, sorry about that. That was a mistake. But at least it was cleaned at 70 degrees. I'll get you a new drink, but it's technically clean. Well, that's kind of the same with mold. When you decide to clean over mold, it's technically clean mold now, but it's not necessarily gone mold. And so as I'm talking to different people, they actually say, well, we know that you can't kill mold. Really? So it's finding out the different processes. Well, then how do you get rid of it? And there's so many different creative approaches to try and help in this area. But, a lot of them is we just take the walls out. I talked to a carpet layer the other day, because I've started calling carpet shops. So just out of curiosity, do you run into mold when you pull up carpet, and how do you fix that? One guy said, if it's on cement and it's not too heavy, he said, we pull the carpet up and move it. He said, and then we just get a grinder and we grind off the top layer of cement so that then, it's not there anymore, besides the fact that it's now everywhere else. He said, and if it's wood, well, we just plane it back, a couple of layers, plane it back. And I thought, wow, there's such a simpler system than this that kills and removes. Kate, you want to tell us what the kill and removal process is?
Yeah, it horrifies me when I hear stories about that. I hear people saying, oh, I use bleach and I bleach it all the time. And I know that
they're doing their best, right? As it said at the webinar, there is no industry standard in Australia or across the world. So to be fair, everybody is just doing the best to deal with the problem as it shows up. But yeah, it is. It's horrific. It's horrific when you start to learn there's such a simple way. So tell us this simple way, Kate.
So the simple way, it's a two-part process. We diffuse our proprietary oils in the air in a diffuser that we've bought from the States, actually, that belts out this beautiful oil at the right velocity, at the right viscosity, and it engulfs the mold spores. So 24 hours, that tiny weeny bottle of oil is done. We go back in and we wipe over the dead mold spores and remove them because they still keep on releasing biotoxins even when they're dead. It's as easy as that.
That's it.
That's it.
You put this thing on, which isn't harmful. Like, I mean, some of the smells with the eucalyptus and everything, it might affect some people, but mostly I sat in it. I went to Nora's house last week and she turned it on. I sat in the room while it was diffusing in the air. It's not much different to just having essential oils out there. Faye, I'll get to you in a second. Not much different to having just essential oils out there in the air. And you just put on for, the specialist puts on for 24 hours and then goes back in their PPE gear and with a cloth, wipe, wash the cloth, wipe, wash the cloth, wipe, wash the cloth, right? It's a bit pedantic, but then it's gone. It's remarkable how this happens. For anyone who has my book, this one here, How to Go From No Sales to Sales, there's some stories in there about Glenn the cleaner. Glenn started as a cleaner doing all sorts of cleans, end of lease cleans, selling your house clean, moving in, moving out cleans, hostile cleans, which is, for hoarders coming in. And he has a story about mold where Nora and him actually lived at opposite ends of the street. They were in class together, sales classes together. And Glenn wouldn't touch her solution because it's natural product. And he said, natural stuff doesn't work. And he refused to touch it. And then one day, his ex-wife has a mold problem and Glenn goes in and cleans it and then it comes back and she has this mold problem. And she was ill, like she got quite ill. And this was not good for him that his, one of his family members, someone that he loves and believes in, is ill from mold. And Nora said, you must try my solution. He goes,
I think she tried to slap him, actually.
You must. And so she said, well, technically you got nothing else to lose. So he went and did it. He said he was staggered by how easy it was and how much it worked and how instantly it worked, that he dropped all other cleaning. And in the last 12 months, he's only done mold cleans. And he's done more than 700 to 1,000 mold cleans in the last 12 months. And he said, Missy, I caught up with him the other week and had breakfast with him. He said, it's staggering that after all these cleans, he said, I'm still shocked at how it just works, to the point where there's he did a lounge that was stuck in storage, a leather lounge that was in storage that had mold on it, but the family wanted the lounge back if he could bring it back from mold. And he tested it with his own money afterwards to test it to see where the mold has gone from. He said it goes from a staggering 100,000 million mold to 2. And he brought it back better than before the lounge went into storage in the first place. He said, it still surprises me how well this works. And he's been doing that just that's it. So he's become a bit of the brain's trust on the physical clean side. But it seems it works every time. Faye, you had your hand up?
I just want to know, do you use this when you get mold in the showers, sitting in amongst the grout and that, and you can clean it out. You can, as you say, use your bleachers and everything like that. Does it work? And do you have to have that oil sitting continuously and going for 24/7, 7 days a week to keep that mold away, or what happens there?
That's a great question. So it's once you do the treatment once. If you live in far north Queensland and it's a very damp environment, you might need to do it twice a year. You run it once and then you wipe it over. But we say that a shower is a damp, moist place, which is perfect breeding ground for mold. So once you've treated it, make sure that you then ventilate every time you have a shower and wipe down the shower with a squeegee or whatever you use, so you don't have that damp mold place, because that just some mold spores in the air will find a home.
Yeah, and with particularly in new places where they do renovations and things like that, can they prevent it from coming into the place before, you know, when they move back in and start using the showers and things like that? Can you prevent it from happening in the first place?
Only by great advice about ventilation and keeping clean, dry surfaces.
Right.
I write articles about cleaning because people don't seem to know how to clean, and dust and grime are great food for mold.
Yeah.
So if we teach people how to clean well, then we'll have less a problem. Obviously, if you do treat a room, and bathrooms is an easy, quick room to treat, if you don't ventilate, it's going to come back.
And what do you mean by ventilate? I mean, having the window open all the time, leave the door open the shower door, not close the shower door, those sorts of things?
All of that, and wipe it down. Yeah.
Right. So don't leave it damp at all.
Don't leave it damp at all.
Ceiling fans.
How many people are going to do that? How many people are going to do that? They're going to wipe down their showers after they get out of them.
If they're the 1 in 4 people that have a problem with mold, they will do that once they know that that's something. And I have people here in the mountains say, I'm not going to shower with my window open, it's too cold. And I say, well, make sure that you open your window after a shower. If you can still see moisture on the cupboards in the bathroom and you've got condensation on the mirror, you need to ventilate it until that's gone. And that's a key.
Right.
It kills me going to hotels that don't have ventilation in the bathroom. Kills me.
Yep. Me
You
too.
go in there and you go, besides that I'm getting out of the shower wet now because it's so damp inside, it's a shocker. But yeah, ceiling fans, even a hot tip is having your ceiling fan, particularly if you've got kids, your ceiling fan, or husbands, no offense, boys, you're probably all right here, but ceiling fans attached to the light, so it's automatic. For a long time, different places we've lived at, someone's like, I actually like getting out when it's all steady, and I'm just like, it kills me. Particularly since meeting Nora as well. But you do have to open everything up and ventilate it.
Fans that ventilate into the roof space is asking for mold, because then the water condenses down on the roof, on the ceiling, and you only see what comes through. What's up there is horrendous. So if you vents in the ceiling space, don't use it. Open the window, the door. Open the door in another room as well, so that the moisture goes through. Use a dehumidifier, Faye. That's a very good way to reduce humidity in your home.
Neville, you got your hand up?
Oh, Kate's just already mentioned it about having a dehumidifier. We have ours in a bathroom because we really don't have, we've got an exhaust fan that doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
And we don't really have any windows in the bathroom that open, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, if it's just movement of air, I don't know whether it's an osmotic kind of process. If you've got a lot of dense, wet area in one area and you've got a window open somewhere else, it'll suck it out. That will help.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you so much, Kate, for being our speaker today. Thank you, audience, for participating with your mold stories and your questions and just being, Adele.
So where do the vent fans go? Like every house has them. Like none of my bathrooms have windows. They just have the vent fan. So if it's just going up the fan and then settling on the roof, like that's retarded.
Yes, in certain, look, don't know what happens in high-rise buildings that don't have an outside window. I imagine
but I'm in a house and I know, like, I clean my vent all the time, but I never thought about where it went. But now I'm going to look.
It might vent outside. It might just vent right outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't know. But if I look at my neighbour's roof, they've got this other little, and I'm like, it's a weird chimney to have there. That could actually be the exhaust fan going out, now that I think about it, because it's probably exactly where the bathroom is. Just never noticed. Yeah, Deborah.
What kind of oil?
Oh, just writing that it's a clove oil plus other proprietary oils we've tried and tested. And it's only available.
Where do you get it?
Well, currently through Australia, but we are looking for American distributors. So if you are interested in that, please reach out and we'll have some conversations.
Okay, thank you.
Not in America yet.
No, I
No.
told Nora she'll have to do a trip. I said, I'll go with you. I know lots of people in America.
My
We
hands
can
up
go
first.
around. That's all right. You come too. And then we'll just go around. I want to catch up with the guys from Vice Grip Garage, because they get cars that have been sitting on a driveway for like 19 years, and they open up and they go, there's always mold in here. And I think, oh, for 4 years I've been watching going, there's an easier way to do this. There's a much easier way to do this as well. And you can just close it off and do that. So yeah, I want to get hold of those guys.